the perfect game.
High fly ball into right field. She is gone. In a year that has been so improbable, the impossible has happened. Fernando Valenzuela has pitched a no-hitter. Frankie Kershaw pitches a no-hitter.
It is gone! It is a walk-off home run for Justin Turner! It's over! Muncy, a walk-off home run! This is way back! Walk-em off! Chris Taylor!
The Dodgers lose game 2 of the NLCS. We're breaking it all down on the Dodgers Nation postgame show.
It's time for Dodger baseball.
First Dodger home run!
Welcome to Dodger Stadium.
Dodgers win!
This is the golden age of Dodger baseball.
Grand slam! It's a double for Freddie. Monkey magic!
They're going to make big signings. They're going to make impact trades. This is the most anticipated season in Dodgers history.
Dodgers have won it all in 2020.
Think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.
What is up, Dodgers Nation, and welcome to the Dodgers Nation post-game show. My name is Doug McKain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMac_LA. Thanks for joining us after the Dodgers lose Game 2 to the New York Metropolitans. The Dodgers dropped Game 2 of this series by a final score of 7-3, and the series is now tied. The Dodgers blew out the Mets in Game 1. You had the 33 consecutive straight scoreless inning streak snapped in the first inning after Francisco Lindor by Ryan Brazier. And really what it comes down to is Landon Knack did not have it today. Landon Knack is someone who at some point, because of how limited your pitching was towards the back end there in a 7-game series, it kind of needed him to cover some innings at some point in Game 2 of a 7-game series. This was the spot to test him to see if he could handle it. Unfortunately, Landon Knack did not handle it well. Knack goes 2 innings, gave up 5 runs on 5 hits, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts, 55 pitches, just 34 first strikes. And we'll talk about if it was the right decision to leave him in the game. Should you have managed this game like you did Game 4 of the NLDS? Well, first and foremost, no. The answer is no, because this is not an elimination game. This is not a do-or-die Game 4 where you need to win just to stave off elimination. This is a 7-game series. A 7-game series. And unfortunate for Landon Knack, he just did not have it. Landon Knack did not have it today. But guess what? You know who else didn't have it? The Dodgers offense. That was an absolute inexcusable performance by the top of the Dodgers lineup today. The top of the Dodgers lineup today just did not do enough. And you look at the hitters, the MV3, they went cold. Not one hit from Shohei, Mookie, or Freddie. You go down the lineup. The top 5 in the Dodgers lineup went a combined 0 for 19. The MVPs went 0 for 12. If you're going to win a game where it's a bullpen game where you run the risk of one of those bullpen pieces not having it, well, guess what? At some point, one of those guys is going to have a bad day. One of those guys is going to crack. Unfortunately, it happened multiple times today with Ryan Brazier. He gives up the home run to Francisco Lindor in the first inning, and just like that, the Dodgers' consecutive scoreless inning streak was snapped at 33. They did tie the 1966 Baltimore Orioles for the most ever for the postseason, but they weren't able to set a new record. And you look at the at-bat right there. Great at-bat by Francisco Lindor. 2-2 count. Fouls off 3 straight pitches. And Brazier goes with that cutter and kind of leaves it up out over the plate. And unfortunately, he is unable to get the out there. Instead, Lindor put the Mets up early after that 1-0 home run. And then the problem really comes in that second inning. The second inning, Landon Knack on the bump. Marte singles to left. Then he walks Winker. Then he gets Iglesias to pop out. And then Taylor with runners on second and third. He doubled to left to score Marte. And that made it 1-0, or Iglesias popped to second, and that Taylor scored double to left, and Marte scored on the Taylor double to make it 2-0 Mets. And then a couple batters later, this was the big kicker. So you end up intentionally walking Lindor with first base open to get to Vientos, and you get ahead in the count 1-2. Then on the ninth pitch of the at-bat, you're talking about a very hittable 95-mile-per-hour fastball right out over the plate, and Vientos did not miss it. He crushes a grand slam, 391 feet, to put the Mets up 6-0, and you're just in the second inning right there. So Landon Knack just did not have it today. Unfortunately, at some point, like I said, you were going to need to get some length. He went 55 pitches for Landon Knack just to cover 6 outs. He got just 3 swinging strikes. So didn't have the command. The stuff wasn't great. He had the 2 walks, and then plus the intentional walk. There were just too many balls out of the plate, and the stuff isn't good enough against a Mets lineup to be able to survive that. The margins are too thin, and you also look at the hard contact. They had 5 balls that were hit off him. They were 100 miles per hour or more. So there was hard contact. You're leaving balls over the plate. It was a recipe for disaster. Now, the question is, if you're Dave Roberts in that situation, after the Taylor double, do you pull the plug? Because at that point, it was pretty clear that he did not have it today. And you go to the bullpen and try to salvage this. But if you're Dave Roberts, a couple of things you're thinking about in that situation is, one, it's a 7-game series, not a 5-game series. And if you go to the bullpen early, and yes, you have the day off tomorrow, then you have 3 straight in New York. But if you go to the bullpen early and they don't have it, then you're going to tax the guys, and it could hurt you later on this series. Today, you didn't see Evan Phillips, Michael Kopech. You didn't see Daniel Hudson or Blake Trine. You didn't see those high leverage guys. But I also think, too, you saw the effects of not having Alex Vesia, right? If you have Alex Vesia, maybe you see Anthony Bonda earlier. Maybe you don't see Landon Knack as quickly. But the truth of the matter is you had to see what you had in him. And I'm just glad that the Landon Knack blow-up inning took place in Game 2, not in Game 5 or Game 6 or Game 7. Now you can regroup, you can have the day off, and then you can get to a Game 3 where you got Walker Buehler, then a Yamamoto. You'll see Jack Flaherty again, and another bullpen game potentially where it's an all-hands-on-deck situation. So I don't think it was necessarily egregious, because if you manage today like it's Game 4 and it doesn't go your way, then you could have some trouble in New York if they were able to take this win and get back to Flushing, Queens, where the Dodgers bullpen is a little more roughed up. But let me know down below in the comment section, what are your big takeaways? We got some fire Dave Roberts in there. Where's Joe Kelly? Got game. Joe Kelly is not available until the World Series, if that. He's dealing with a shoulder injury. Andre, no hitter is going to get 2 hits a game in the playoffs. This is baseball. 30% of success rate is Hall of Fame worthy. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it just wasn't the day for the Dodgers bats. Having said that, though, you just didn't capitalize in certain situations. And here's the other thing, too. You paired that bullpen game that didn't go your way versus the Mets' best pitcher. And Sean Manaea was on. I tried to warn you guys during the pregame show that he was their best pitcher ever since switching that arm slot to the 5.2 feet. I mean, you're seeing the deception there, and he was very effective today. And clearly, you had hitters off balance. And Shohei Ohtani continues to struggle with runners off base, and today really wasn't great with runners on base either, but still, you didn't capitalize with that. And then you have Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman. I mean, just the top of the lineup, they had their opportunities, but they did not do enough of them. You look at the bottom of the second inning, Tommy Edman, he gets a single to center with 1 out. A couple batters later, Kike walked to give the Dodgers on with runners on first and second. Andy Pages gets up in the count 2-0. And Andy Pages, if he's not going to hit lefties, what is he going to hit? Because he was great against lefties all season long. In that at-bat, he gets ahead in the count, gets into a hitter's count, and then he takes strike one looking, top of the zone, fouls one off, top of the zone, 91, and then he swings and misses at a sinker, 94 miles per hour. So weren't able to get a run in that inning. Today, as a whole, this Dodgers team, despite how this plan worked out, despite the fact you're going with a bullpen game where the first 2 pitchers in that plan give up runs, the Brazier home run in the first, and then Landon Knack gets roughed up, gives up the grand slam in the second, you still had opportunities to get back in this game, but you did not capitalize. Yesterday, the Dodgers 5 for 11 with runners in scoring position. They got the big hit when they needed to. Tonight, it was the opposite. They go 1 for 9 with runners in scoring position, and you left 10 runners on base. Tonight, the Dodgers, 5 hits in 32 at-bats and 11 strikeouts as a team. And the hits, I mean, think about this. The Dodgers, you had 5 hits today. Tommy Edman had 3 of your 5 hits. Outside that, you had a Muncy hit and then a Pages hit late. But outside of that, I mean, you're not going to win very many games when the top 5 of your order doesn't get a base hit. In fact, the top 6 of the Dodgers order didn't get a base hit. I mean, it's tough to overcome that. And yeah, you can point to the pitching all game long. You can point to the pitching and not pushing all the chips in if you want to go that route, if you want to go for broke. But the truth is, I mean, you can't be that inept offensively and expect to win a lot of games. I mean, the top part of your lineup, just 1 through 5, going 0 for 19. And then Tommy Edman is able to get 3 base hits in the 6 hole, but still, that's just not going to get it done. Like I said, the opportunities were there. The opportunities were there. They just did not capitalize on them. And Kike Hernandez, who was the hero in game 5, a hero in game 1, baseball comes at you fast. And just like that, he didn't take advantage of his opportunities either. And we'll talk about some of those and just say at the top of the line is not getting it done today. I mean, Max Muncy, bottom of the 5th inning, was able to get a home run. He hits a bomb. That made it 6-1 Dodgers. Then in the 6th inning, that was the inning that the Dodgers really could have made things interesting. And that's the inning that you'll point to. Reminds me of game 2 of the NLDS, where the Dodgers had the bases loaded, weren't able to take full advantage. Well, guess what? You're down 6-1 in the 6th inning. Mookie Betts draws a leadoff walk. Teoscar Hernandez walks. Freddie Freeman grounds into a fielder's choice at second, but Teoscar was safe at second on the fielding error by Iglesias. So just like that, you load the bases. Madden comes in to pitch for the Mets. Will Smith, not taking good at bats right now. He pops to second. Then Tommy Edman, 0-2 count, great piece of hitting. He singles to right to score 2 runs. Hernandez and Betts, they cross home plate to make it 6-3 Dodgers. And you still have a chance for a big inning. Runners on the corners. Max Muncy, he draws a walk to set up Kike Hernandez with the bases loaded in that situation, and Kike Hernandez, unfortunately, is unable to come through with runners. He ends up grounding to a double play to end the inning, and it looked like for a second maybe they didn't step on second base. Maybe Pete Alonso's foot came off the bag at first. Upon further review, the Dodgers challenged both calls and did not get a successful challenge for any of them. So they got 2 runs on just 1 hit in the error, but that was the inning where if it's a 6-4, 6-5 game, you feel really good about the Dodgers' chances. And kind of the Mitch Law to have full take was, how about Brent Honeywell? How about Edgardo Henriquez? Had some moments, but really the story from the pitching side, the big highlight was Brent Honeywell in this one. Brent Honeywell tonight in his postseason debut goes 3 innings, had 2 strikeouts, gave just 1 hit through 57 pitches, 35 for strikes. Now, I thought Brent Honeywell was going to be one of the heroes in this game. I mean, there was a moment where it was they found the garden snake in the Dodgers dugout. Maybe the rally snake's going to become a thing. You got the turtleneck on the mound. I mean, the turtlenecks are back in for the fall just because of Brent Honeywell. And unfortunately, they couldn't take advantage. But Honeywell did a nice job. He put up zeros during his entire start. I mean, top of the 6th inning, after Lindor was safe at first, after that error by Max Muncy, he gets Vientos to ground into a double play. Then he gets Nimmo to line out. So you saw soft contact, and he was giving this team a chance to win. 7th inning, after the Marte double, he bounced back and got back-to-back strikeouts, got Winker swinging with the 4-seam fastball in the inside corner. They got Iglesias swinging with a slider, got him to chase at that slider. But really, you just needed more opportunities. And I think you missed Gavin Lux today. You missed Alex Vesia today. And when we've seen this team have success in the postseason, you're seeing the bottom of the lineup contribute, and give Shohei Ohtani, who still does not have a base hit with the bases empty. He's 6 for 8 with runners on, but he just does not get the pitch quality that I think you need. And also just the at-bat quality isn't great either. And Andy Pages did not have a great day. I mean, he did have a single late. I mean, he get a base hit, but earlier than that, he didn't really have great at-bats. And look, it's not that big of a surprise when it's been this long since you've been in the lineup and you're not facing big league pitching. But you look at the 7th inning, Shohei Ohtani, he draws a 1-out walk, and then Stanek comes in to pitch, and Mookie Betts strikes out swinging, and Teoscar grounds to third. Bottom of the 8th inning, you had some rally going after a Tommy Edman 2-out single. Max Muncy drew a walk. Edman, he gets to second, and then after so you had Freddie ground out, then Smith lined to left, and Edman single with 2 outs, and Muncy drew a walk, and then Edwin Diaz comes in to pitch to Kike Hernandez, and Kike, with runners on second and third after a double steal, he flies to right to end the inning. So, yeah, I mean, you just did not have the clutch base hits, the timely hits that we've seen from Kike, from Teoscar, from Mookie. Shohei didn't do much. And then it's still 6-3. And you bring back Edgardo Henriquez to pitch. He striked out Nimmo. He walked Alonso. And then I'm wondering, why are you just letting him steal second base in that situation? You fell asleep. You got to have a little more attention to detail there. I mean, I don't care if you're not using your best relievers, but the relievers that are in the game, they need to do everything they can to try to win this game. And I think that was an inexcusable situation to just give up that free base to Alonso because it led to a run. Next batter, Marte, 3-2 count. He singles to center to score Alonso to put the Mets up 7-3. At that point, your win probability that was already low is in miracle territory, and you're very unlikely to win that game. Winker singled after that. He does get out of the inning. He got Iglesias to fly out and Taylor to ground to a fielder's choice, but nothing doing. In the bottom of the 9th inning, Pages did get the leadoff single, but more listless offense by the Dodgers. Shohei Ohtani did draw a 6-pitch walk. Then Mookie Betts, who runners on first and second, he strikes out swinging on a 4-seam fastball up in the zone. Teo goes down swinging, and Freddie Freeman goes down swinging. So just not enough from the top of the lineup. I mean, period, point blank. You can talk about the pitching all day long, but it's not Dave Roberts' fault that the top of his lineup absolutely didn't show up today. I mean, when you have no hits, that's the definition of not showing up. He had some walks mixed up in there, but that's not going to get it done. It's the same problem that we saw with Yu Darvish in game 2 was the approach against Sean Manaea. I mean, he got some pitch counts up there later in the game, but 5 innings, 87 pitches, could have done a better job against Sean Manaea, who pitched well today. 7 strikeouts, held his Dodgers offense just 2 hits, and outside of Stanek, who gave up, or outside of that with Sean Manaea in the 2 earned runs, you had the 1 in the air. So really, I mean, this is just not enough from this Dodgers offense. So, hey, at this point, you could be looking at a longer series, and at least you got some questions that you needed to be answered. Was how much can you trust Landon Knack? The answer is not that much. How much can you thrive in a bullpen game without the full arsenal of arms with no Alex Vesia? The answer is not that much. You did save some arms, and look, this team could certainly go into Queens and win 3 straight, but now you could be looking at a situation where, hey, you got to go to New York, you got to take 1 game, and if you don't, your season's over. We got a $50 super chat. Dodgers now need to win game or 2 in New York. It's tough. It's nothing that's too tough for them. This team can certainly do that. Angel Torres, 1999. You might not agree, but Dave was the worst part of the game. I'm a Dave guy, and he cursed us by walking Lindor. Knew the grand slam was coming. Also, will turn into Austin Barnes. Yeah, I mean, that's certainly a decision that you could say proved to be a costly one because Vientos goes and hits that home run. You walk Lindor, and Vientos said after the game that he took it personal. And I mean, anytime that happens, we've seen it with Dodgers players. You saw it with Mookie Betts, right? Earlier this season, taking that personal. But I mean, you got to give him credit. He put a good swing on it. And I mean, the way they set up the matchup, you want to set up the righty matchup, and you got a switch hitter in Lindor that can kind of, and look, Lindor hit a home run in this game. Lindor hit a grand slam against the Phillies. There's no guarantee that, yeah, maybe Lindor doesn't hit a grand slam, but maybe Lindor gets a double or a single or draws a walk. I mean, he's one of the best players in baseball. To act like, okay, you're going to go out and Knack was going to strike out Lindor after he gave a home run against him in the first inning, that's some hindsight hyena armchair manager stuff right there. So, I mean, I respect the take, trust me, but the truth is, we'll never know. I mean, we'll just never know. Kelly Oshiro, 999 super chat, did not like moving Edman out of the 9th spot. He's perfect there in front of Show. The one-time Pies got on base. Show walked on the ways. Don't have Show as leadoff. Yeah, I mean, it's something they might consider if he continues to struggle like this. The truth of the matter is Shohei needs to put together better at-bats. And I think for me, he looks a little in between, and anytime he's striking out the way he is striking out, that's when it becomes a concern, and he kind of is hitting one of those tiny mini little slumps. I mean, you look at the bottom of the 3rd inning, struck it on 3 pitches. He fouled the first pitch off, then took a sinker in the middle of the zone, and just looked at strike 3. I mean, you got to be a little more aggressive, protect the plate in that situation. Where's the pop, man? Where's the bombs? Where's the doubles? I mean, yeah, I do think that when you look at his success with runners on base, they do want to stagger the lineup. Lefty, righty, lefty. You want to have Shohei batting leadoff as a lefty. You want to have Mookie as a righty and Freddie as a lefty. They love that. But having said that, Shohei Ohtani at the plate with runners on base, he's a different hitter right now than we're not on base. The stats bear that out. And Mookie, he's a championship leadoff hitter. He is continuing to put together at least better leadoff style at bats where we're seeing more pitches. But I mean, let's not forget too, Shohei went absolutely nuclear in the leadoff spot. So this team is not going to panic. They're not going to panic after just one game. But the truth of the matter is this is one of those games I told you. I mean, Sean Manaea came into this game with a 7.09 ERA in 47 career innings against the Dodgers. I mean, you look at that. I mean, yeah, sure. Most of that came in when he was with the Padres in 2022, but he had his way. He really had his way with him. I mean, that very Mr. Chris Sale Manaea with that release right there had a ton of success, and you didn't have the heroes today. You did not have the heroes today. And Edwin Diaz, who's faltered a couple times this postseason. I mean, after the Edman single, the Muncy walk in the 8th, he had runners on with 2 outs. You go to Edwin Diaz, Kike representing the tying run in that situation. He flies to right. And on that pitch right there, go back and look at it. That's a sweeper right out over the middle of the plate. So the Dodgers miss pitches that we've seen them drive this entire postseason. Today just was not their day. And then you add the fact that just 5 hits. You didn't have the 8 walks. 8 walks for the Dodgers, which is a positive, but just 5 hits. And the top of your lineup goes solid. I think, too, Edgardo Henriquez giving up that insurance run in the 9th inning. Did cover the final 2 innings and was able to get a clean inning there in the 8th inning. So there were some silver linings. But, yeah, I mean, you got used Bonda and used Brazier, but you could have possibly used them in a different situation there. And those are the only 2 high leverage relievers. So the Mitch Lotta have full take is you only lose those high leverage relievers, Brazier and Bonda. You might have something in Honeywell and Enriquez and Landon Knack. They're going to think long and hard, and they're going to find the right situation for him before they use him again. So we got Knack spent all of last night closing out. Oh, come on now, Nando. Nando, going to give you a bruh for that. Welcome to the Dodgers Nation post-game show, the #1 Dodgers post-game show on the internet, #1 Dodgers show on the internet. If you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe to the Dodgers Nation YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, hit that like button, comment giveaway for our next giveaway so you will be eligible. Be sure to do that. Let's get back to the comments. We got Drew, $4.99. After 2 games, we know the Mets now will adjust. Dodgers in 6. I'll give you a let's go Dodgers for that. Let's go Dodgers. We got Brandon Chang. I'm okay with the loss today. It's not like everyone who came out of the bullpen was bad. Just way too many guys left on base today. And hopefully this lights a fire under the guy's torta. Give you a bruh for that one, but it's a loving bruh, that's for sure. Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt about it. I mean, that's something that is baseball, right? I mean, you're not going to get the big hit every single day. Today, Sean Manaea had his way. The Dodgers haven't had a lot of success against sinker ball pitchers this season, but the truth of the matter is, I mean, you get the big hits in game 1, And in game 4 today, 1 for 9 with the runners in scoring position. So kind of their model wasn't as sustainable as we had hoped for. But having said that, there are some things to feel good. I think anyone that's saying the Dodgers punted game 2, I mean, I'm not going to say it's a casual take, but I mean, they didn't punt game 2. I think baseball is very different than basketball. Baseball is very different than football. In baseball, you manage a series. And to manage a series, you have to calculate moves through the course of an entire game and consider how that bleeds over into the next game. Basketball, it's give me the best lineups. Who's hot today? 7-man rotation in the postseason. Are my stars going to score 30, 40 points, right? It's as simple as that. Football, game planning all week. Are my X's and O's going to work? Are my defensive coverages going to work? Is my offense going to score touchdowns? Baseball, the workloads from game to game can factor into the following game. So worst case scenario today was you burn those key bullpen pieces and you still lost. Truth is, the Dodgers went with what on paper is their worst combination of pitchers when it comes to high leverage guys. Yes, Brazier and Bonda have had success, but still you got 3 scoreless from Honeywell, 2 from Henriquez. You give the insurance run, and then Knack, the blow-up inning is what really cost you, but that's going against the best that the Mets have to offer from a starting pitching standpoint. So, look, you're going to have fresher arms down the stretch. You got Buehler, you got Yamamoto, you got Flaherty. You got to go into New York and take at least one game to get it back to LA. But there's no reason why this team can't go to New York and win a couple of games, even win the next 3 games, okay? The Mets are a good team. The Mets are in the NLCS for a reason, but I just don't think there's a situation where they punted. They didn't punt game 2. It's just the BABIP gods were against him. I mean, for example, you look at, sometimes baseball just doesn't go your way, and you hate to see that. But sometimes that's just what happens. You take a look at the 8th inning, for example. The 8th inning is an inning where we could be talking about an epic comeback. In the 8th inning, after Mookie at the 8th inning, after Freddie Freeman grounded to second, and Will Smith lined out to left, right? The Freddie Freeman ground out was 97.2 miles per hour off the bat, had a 600 batting average. The Will Smith line out had a 780 expected batting average, was 109 miles per hour off the bat. Both those guys get those hits. You got runners on first and second in a 6-3 game. Tommy Edmonds singles, and just like that, you're putting runs across. Then Muncy drew the walk. I mean, it could have been the big inning right there, and then it would have set up Kike Hernandez for a big moment. So, unfortunately, it just did not go your way. And that's unfortunately how it went down. 1 second here. Let's find this. That's how it went down. So it's a bad loss. It hurts. It stings because you had all that momentum. I thought one of the big things the Dodgers did yesterday was not take advantage of the momentum that they built in winning game 5. And that carried over into game 1. They won that game. And I said yesterday it was the least stressful postseason game in recent memory. And I feared that, hey, it just takes one game. And just like that, you kind of have that fear and anxiety. So, yeah, it's unfortunate. We got no reason to panic. Dodgers still got this. We got Shohei can't be first in the line. That's from Lore. Nicholas Viola, get back to game 1. Batting order, swap show with Mookie. Jose Aguirre, Dodgers got embarrassed in game. Respect your opponent. We got You Need Mods. Dave Mack, I don't know who's in the chat, but you guys can ban anyone that's talking loud, Tony. Brandon Chang, 199. Yeah, always drop the username you guys want us to ban, and we'll ban that guy. Tony will do it. A 199 super chat. Way too many runners left on base. Yeah, that was a problem. Alberto, we got 499 super chat. We were expecting a bullpen game like game 4 of the NLDS and got this bullpen game from Wish. That's a good take. The truth is, though, what was that game for? It was an elimination game. It was do or die. And yes, you have to win these 4 games. There's no doubt about that. But even if you win game 2, at some point, you're going to need to call onto the deeper areas of your bullpen unless it's going to be a sweep. This is a good Mets team. Look, the NLCS could be a longer series, right? They're here for a reason. We got the Dodgers, and I still feel really confident too. Look, winning a road game is, I mean, if you win today, but you lose game 3, I mean, is it that big of a difference? I think they're going to go in and possibly take 2 or 3 in New York. We got J-Cam, D-Mac, Shohei did go cold with this week. He will pick it up. I have no doubt he needs to come alive for the Dodgers to win it all. Look, Shohei had 2 hits yesterday. He really should have had a double, but they changed it after the Marte played, made an error. Shohei was doing well. The key for Shohei is getting ducks on the pond so he can capitalize. The best version of Shohei Ohtani is when there's runners on base and pitchers are scared to throw strikes to him, and they make mistakes and they throw strikes because they're afraid they're going to walk him, and he hits home runs and he hits bombs and he gets you extra base hits. So, yeah, I mean, they have a decision to make. If he continues to struggle without runners on, do they make a lineup change? And we saw them for long stretches of the season where you had Mookie at the top of the lineup. The last time the Dodgers won the World Series, Mookie Betts was their leadoff hitter. He's certainly capable of doing just that. Me personally, I want to see the lineup that we saw with Gavin Lux down in the lineup. And Gavin Lux, by all indications, Dave Roberts said that hip flexor issue that he's dealing with is not going to keep him out of a game. He could have been available today. So, look, I mean, I'm not saying you guaranteed to hit him against a lefty, but they need to see what Andy Paz could do against a lefty because that's where he specializes. He did have a hit, and I'm not ready to just say Andy Paz, the season's over either. I mean, he had a hit, and the first couple of bats against their ace is understandable, right? I mean, baseball is the hardest sport in the world for a reason. Joseph Gutierrez, Dodgers need to look at giving Will Smith a day off. He's looked awful all postseason. Give Barnes a look. He's proven he can hit in October. I think that's a tough pill to swallow when you think about that. I mean, Austin Barnes, the fact you guys are calling for Austin Barnes kind of tells you where Will Smith is at this stage of the postseason. You've had him take walks. You had Will Smith the longest home run of this postseason. I think you stick with Will Smith. You don't pay a guy $140 million and because of a couple bad games, say we're going to Austin Barnes. Okay? That's ridiculous. I mean, what are we talking about here? Okay? Will Smith is an all-star catcher, and you're ready to, after a couple of bad games, and yes, hasn't had the best postseason, replace him with Austin Barnes? And all due respect, that's kind of insane. And yes, Will Smith is 2 for 23, hitting 87, 467 OPS. Hasn't had a good 3 months. But I'm not ready to say, okay, let's replace him with Austin Barnes in the lineup and expect Barnes to come in and give you extra base hits and give you a slug. I mean, the home run that Will Smith hit, and also, too, the hard contact has been there. He's been hitting the ball hard. He hasn't seen the results. So I'm sticking with Will Smith. Is it because you guys think I look like him? Maybe. But the truth of the matter is the upside potential there. And look, Will Smith has gotten better as a game caller. What? You guys not going to give Will Smith any credit for the 33 consecutive scoreless innings? Will Smith has done a hell of a job as a game caller, as a receiver, and he's one of the big reasons why. Talk to these guys that are in that bullpen. You talk to these starting pitchers, they give Will Smith a ton of credit. He's been in his bag behind the dish. Unfortunately, he couldn't do anything today about Landon Knack's lack of command, and ultimately that did this Dodgers team, and they couldn't overcome that big deficit. But no, you're not moving on Will Smith for Austin Barnes after 23 at-bats. Okay, it's a very small sample size, and I have faith in Will Smith because, look, you need as much pop in this lineup as you can. You got to beat this Mets team, and then you're going to be facing a Guardians or Yankees team after this. So you definitely need to put yourself in a position where you have upside all-star potential in as many spots in the lineup as you possibly can, and that is what Will Smith has. We got Brandon Chang, 199. It's way too many runners left on base. Ryan O'Connor, 199. We got a comic from One Follow Bueller. Yoshi flared it. We could easily win 2 of 3 of those games. Yeah, that's what I feel good about. You go to New York after a day of rest. You go to New York with the top of your rotation still intact, and a Walker Bueller who you need to see some grit, some gut. You want to see a little more swing and miss from Bueller? Because, look, that's the biggest thing. I mean, what are you going to get from Bueller? Let's not forget. You need for as good as the Dodgers have looked in some of their wins, they are still limited with the pitching that they have available because of the losses, because of the loss of Glasnow and Gavin Stone and Clayton Kershaw. Bobby Miller hasn't lived up to expectations this year. So that puts you behind the 8 ball. So you got to see what you have with Walker Buehler, and then you feel good about Yamamoto. You feel good about Jack Flaherty. So, hey, everyone just calm down. Let's not forget. I think maybe this is because the Dodgers haven't been in a 7-game series in a while, right? It's been 5-game series for the last couple of years, the last 3 years to be exact, and every loss is magnified because of how valuable they are. You got to manage the series in baseball, not manage a game. Because if you try to manage it by the game, yeah, you could hit, right? And you could make the right decisions, and it feels like you're hitting, right? But then later in the series, it can come back to haunt you. I mean, walking Lindor was a choice. Got to give Vientos credit. I mean, just like Teoscar got a big grand slam. I mean, these players are going to come through in certain situations, and I think that ultimately this Dodgers offense just did not do enough in this one to make the game out of this. And still, having said all that, somehow, some way, they were still in this game late in this one. So, yeah, my panic meter, how about you guys? I'm pretty much at like a 4 right now, and I'm pretty panicky just in general in the postseason, but I feel very confident in the Dodgers in this series. I still think the Dodgers win this series. D. Frankeman, $5 super chat. Roberts needed to manage with his eyes in the second. Everyone in the stadium could see Knack was a mess. Let the game get away from him. Yeah, I mean, look, I do think if there's one thing you could point to that is a decision that you could say, okay, this did not go Dave Roberts' way, is, yeah, I mean, intentionally walking Lindor. A lot of managers around baseball would have done the exact same thing. Okay. This is an MVP candidate, someone who just hit a home run, someone who's seen the ball very well this postseason to get to Vientos. And unfortunately, Vientos, he stepped up and had a big hit, right? But the truth is, the Landon Knack situation, after the double to Taylor, maybe you consider pulling him. And I think one thing that we know at this point is when you used Landon Knack at the end of the game, well, at that point, the Dodgers offense had already given you a big lead, so you feel better about that. I think probably the decision to put a rookie pitcher in the NLCS Game 2, that probably is something that I would have thought about. I would have reconsidered that if I was the Dodgers. I think that is the area of concern. Is, look, yeah, you want to see what you have in him, but was that the right situation? We saw it work so well was Brazier to Bonda. And then you're going high leverage guys, Michael Kopech, and you're going with some real high leverage flamethrowers. They didn't do that in this game, and they lost ultimately, but they know they have to go to New York anyway, and they want to do that with giving their best chances. So, yeah, I mean, Landon Knack just did not have it today, and unfortunately, the Dodgers offense didn't as well. And look, historically, Manaea has been awful against the Dodgers. 6 runs wasn't insurmountable. And that was proven by all the opportunities that they had created. But yeah, I mean, tough loss because it was all the momentum feels like, okay, it was a big riding high of Game 5, riding high off Game 1. Now you're kind of getting a little mini wake up call. But kind of going back to Landon Knack, I mean, you just see him finish those pitches, man. He was flying open a lot. I mean, the mechanics, you just didn't see the finish right there. Couple that bad at bats, and then you see why you're down 1-1. You miss Vest, you miss Gavin Lux. But here, back to the comment section. Alex PPG, Yamamoto has figured it out. Buehler will show up and compete. Flaherty will be back for Game 7 if needed. Dodgers offense will get it going again. Dodgers in 6 or 7. I think both of these series have the chance to, go stretch a little longer. I still think the Dodgers could make a short series of this, though. I truly do believe that. I think Shohei still is on the verge of popping. If you look at the at-bats and where he's at, I mean, on the postseason, hitting 222. He's hitting 222 so far this postseason. And in the NLCS, look, he did a good job for sure in Game 1. In the NLCS, he had the 2 big hits. As a whole, though, it's the strikeouts that you're looking at. Because when he's striking out, that's when he's not seeing the ball well. And so far, 2 strikeouts in the 7 at-bats this series. Not too bad, 2 hits. I mean, hitting 286 with 786 OPS. I'm waiting for the OPS to get higher. In fact, the person who leads the Dodgers with hits this series is Tommy Edman. He's 4 for 7, hitting 571. Mookie Betts, he's 1 for 8. Freddie Freeman, you need to see more from him as well. He's 2 for 8. The bat's got to get going. Top of the order has to get going. That's how this team was built. It was built from the top to bottom. How do we feel about Buehler, Daniel Paredes? Feel solid about him. I don't think he's going to go out there and pitch a perfect game or give you a prime Kurt Schilling or anything like that. But I do think, like someone just pointed out, he's going to go out there and give you a chance to compete. Let's not forget, if it weren't for Miguel Rojas' decision to try to get the double play himself in the second inning of Game 4, there's a world where Walker Buehler could have gone 5 innings and allowed just 3 runs. You were getting a lot of ground ball outs. Did give the home run to Tatis and the double to Peralta, but still, I think he can give you number 3 starter on a World Series winning team level of performance. We got $5 super chat from D. Frankeman, Robert T. DeMange. Okay, let's keep it going down here. Keep finding a way, guys. By the way, if you haven't yet subscribed to the #1 Dodgers YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, hit that like button. A $4.99 super chat from Cool Ribs. Smitty needs to walk out to Fresh Prince so he can hit again. It's an awesome take. It's a fire take. It's a comment of the show right there. I love that. Let's go Dodgers. I miss that. I miss those days. We winning this. Facts. Dodgers don't have pitchers for Mets in 5. Mets in 5. I'm screenshotting that. I'm going to make a t-shirt of that. I'm going to make hats of that. So when the Mets don't win in 5, I'm going to rub it in your face. I'm just saying. Let Knack in after the walks. CR Dudley. Here's the thing. When you don't have other multi-inning style of pitchers to go to in that situation, I mean, look, now I think you're going to Honeywell, right? I think that situation, I'd rather have Honeywell coming in after the opener, and then you play it from that standpoint, and then you get to the big dogs. But it's game 2 of a 7-game series. VFR 1200, good series. Let's face it, both of these teams are great. It's not luck that they're both there. Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, by the way, I want to say this, though. I'm kind of happy that we don't have to have the rally snake. I mean, the rallies, I wouldn't find, I would have loved if they had won today and I would have celebrated. But think about this. We were so close to the rally snake because we keep getting totally fooled. We got fooled by the rally goose a couple years ago. That didn't come through. Then the rally snake. I mean, first of all, when I saw the rally snake, I was like, wow, Rob Manfred is in the Dodgers dugout. That's pretty cool. What's the commissioner doing there? But Antonio, what do you think about the rally snake?
My bad, bro. I didn't hook up the camera. I was too upset about the Dodgers loss. But
we can see your pretty face.
I don't know about that, but I don't know. It was 2 Arizona Diamondbacks for me, TBH.
That's true, right? You know. I mean, it could have been a thing. It could have totally been a thing, and it's not going to be a thing anymore. But hey, the good news is that the bullpen, major shout out to Brent Honeywell. I think that you got to hold Landon Knack accountable for his performance today because he just didn't have it and the offense didn't show up. You know, the postseason is always about the offense, man. We can always talk about the pitching. If the offense doesn't show up, it's a little bit of a moot point. And when your top 5 goes a combined 0 for 19, it's tough to put all the blame. And yes, of course, you can make the point that it puts your offense behind the 8 ball and puts more pressure on them that they're going to the plate behind and you're not able to score runs because of that. Sure, there's no doubt about it. But I just like the way the pitching lines up in New York. And I think the bats are going to come alive in game 3. And they've played well in New York in recent memory too. So, I mean, you got Buehler, you got Yamamoto, you got Flaherty. They're all lined up for New York. But you need the MV3 to show up, okay? Looking at you, Shohei. Looking at you, Mookie. Looking at you, Freddie Freeman. I mean, the top of the lineup, I mean, that's just, it's not going to get it done, man. That's just bad at-bats. But I will say the at-bats got better as the game went along. They really did. And they didn't just give up, right? They were trying to, they didn't lay down. I mean, they did not lay down in this one. And they tried to mount a comeback and he had some hard hit balls they just weren't able to take advantage of. But still, I mean, at the end of the day, it's a result-based business, and the results weren't there. And they'll be the first to tell you that. And you got to tip your cap, You got to tip your cap to the Mets pitching and Sean Manaea. He's had a really good second half of the season since he's made those mechanical adjustments. He's pitched very poorly against the Dodgers throughout his career at ERA over 7. Well, today, a little bit of redemption right there, right? I mean, think about this. Every time the Dodgers have a big moment, when Kike hits a home run, it's boom, Kike solo home run, or Teoscar solo home run. we always say, wow, what a great at-bat that was. What a great swing you put on that. Rarely do we talk about the mistake that the pitcher made when it's on the other team, right? Well, the same rules apply. So you got to give them some credit, as much as I hate to do it. And the truth is, I mean, that pitch to Vientos, I mean, that is as center cut of a fastball as you're going to find in that situation. I think with Landon Knack, a couple of things is finishing his pitches. The mechanics seemed like they were a little off him flying out. Then also, you have to trust your stuff and attack guys in the zone. And Landon Knack has a ton of talent. I love the dude. I think he's still going to be able to really help this team. Just wasn't his afternoon. And it's tough. Rarely do you see rookies go out there in the postseason and deal, right? It's very far and few and far between. I mean, not a lot of Fernando Valenzuela's walking through that door, right? With that kind of postseason level of success. And yeah, I mean, when you get 5 hits, it's tough. 5 hits. And other thing too, the slug just wasn't there as well. I mean, you look at this Dodgers offense, got 5 hits after outside of Max Muncy's home run. That it was a solo shot right there. I mean, you need more from that. And unfortunately, they just weren't able to come through. So I'm not too worried about this series yet. It's going to be a longer series than I anticipated, but we got to Alex PPG Yamamoto has figured it out. We got to Andrew Adams. If the Dodgers lose this series, we will talk about this game for a while. Andrew Adams. Yeah, I mean, also, if we see the Dodgers go on to take 2 and 3 games in New York, we can also say that it was probably because of a more rested bullpen. It was probably because the bat stepped up. I mean, it's really tough. I mean, look, Dave Roberts has been in his bag this postseason. If you guys think Dave Roberts is getting fired, he's not. He's going to be the Dodgers manager next season and beyond, right? But Dave can't go out there and swing the bat for the MV3. You got to hold the players accountable just as much as you hold Dave Roberts accountable. I'm not seeing people talking about Shohei Ohtani. Shohei has not looked like an MVP so far. Okay. Lindor, it's a regular season award, right? And Shohei Ohtani's regular season was superior to Francisco Lindor's regular season. But in the postseason, that hasn't been the case. That hasn't been the case. And you need to see more from him. You need to see better at bats. I mean, the 3-pitch strikeouts, him being in between. Lefties are throwing that breaking ball on the outside corner and he's laying off and they're touching the zone and he's striking out. Happening against Tanner Scott, happening against Sean Manaea today. So I'd rather see Shohei be a little more aggressive and swing the bat versus taking pitches that go for strikes. And the truth is, he's got to show me something. I mean, Lindor, an 872 postseason OPS, playing shortstop as well. 872 postseason OPS. You got the big clutch home runs, at a big home run today. And Shohei, who's had his moments, and I still think the best baseball is yet to come. But as a whole, we have to figure out why Shohei's OPS in the postseason is sub 700. In 7 postseason games, he's hitting 222 with a 677 OPS. I mean, Shohei's not even performing like an all-star yet. So you could view that a couple of different ways. One, that he's going to break out of this little slump that he's having, even though it's tough to say he's in a slump after a 2-hit game. But as a whole, here's the thing about Shohei in the postseason versus the regular season. You guys know I love my numbers, right? We can go as deep in the numbers as you want to possibly get. And I love the numbers. But there's also, what am I feeling? How does it feel when you see him at the plate? In the regular season, when he's at the plate, it's like Superman in baseball cleats. He's going to do some damage. Something special going to happen. He's going to hit a bomb. He's going to get on base and steal a base. The postseason hasn't felt like that with Shohei. Even though Fox is reminding us every 2 seconds how many batters away he is, and we're anticipating these at-bats, it's not that same level of fear that he's imposing on the pitching for the other side. Yes, you see him attacked well, but I need to see some adjustments from Shohei and see some more slug. And look, even yesterday, I mean, he snapped a 36 straight stolen base streak. So, I mean, that's even, the stolen base is even getting caught. So, look, you guys know, literally, There's no one on the planet, maybe outside of his family and decoy, that loves Shohei more than this guy right here. Live for Shohei, but also know what he's capable of. And he's not playing up to his abilities right now. Now, would putting him in a different spot in the order allow that to happen? Remains to be seen. But I also think that I like Kelly Oshiro's point is Tommy Edman batting lower in the order. It gives you another guy that can get on base and someone that doesn't rely on slug too. I like that about guys like Lux and Edman, guys that can get on base, take their walks, give him run producing opportunities. And that's something they need to explore. They need to explore that, but you just can't continue this trend of, okay, we're going to have him go on to the plate with no one on base. And they're just kind of pitching around him at that point. And I will say, I mean, baseball is weird. I mean, think about the Kike double play. When the ball popped right out of the third baseman's glove, right? It looked like, oh no, it's going to be LOL Mets. It's going to be a Mets disaster, right? It's like baseball is so razor thin like that at times that for as bad as this game played out for the top of the lineup and Landon Knack, you basically got the best version of the Mets today. And there were still moments where if you got a break here, you got a break there, that you could have still won this game. So, yeah, I mean, for me, I'm never going to be the moral victory guy. It's not who I am. I hate moral victories and that kind of thing. But the truth of the matter is you could still have an opportunity to win this one despite the way things went. We got a 499 super chat. Blessings in disguise. We learned Knack only in low leverage spots. Honeywell is fire. We saw their high leverage relievers. We got humbled. Dodgers still in 5. Like that little fire take right there from you. And exactly, that's what I've been saying is you got to put these guys to the test. And now next time, Brent Honeywell is in a better position to cover 3 innings than Landon Knack is. Fear the turtleneck. Joseph Gutierrez, Knack was terrible, yes, but the offense had plenty of opportunities to come back, but another terrible offensive showing. Yeah, I mean, Kike double play. I mean, there's multiple opportunities in this one that we've broken down. And bottom line is you're not coming through in big spots. 1 for 9 with runners in scoring position. That's the recipe for losing. But I just feel like, I mean, come on now. I mean, you're not going to go to your high leverage arms in the second inning of a 7-game series that you're up 1-0, right? And you're only down 1-0 at that point too, right? Knack just had a blow up inning, man. He didn't have it. Stuff wasn't good. I think too, look, Ben Conspiracy stuff last night, Brent Honeywell stuff looked good today. Those guys, I think, move up in the pecking order and deserve some consideration for some of these innings in more meaningful situations, right? But still, I mean, you had chances to cut into this lead, 6-3, 7-3. And other thing too to consider, the Mets really haven't seen these high leverage guys a lot, right? They haven't seen the Phillipses and Tryons and the Kopechs to the degree where there's extended familiarity against them. The Dodgers, they've seen all of the Mets high leverage arms at this point. That's going to pay dividends for the remainder of this series. So, I mean, Severino, Quintana, I mean, the Mets pen, they were trying to give away this game. 8 walks. The best version of the Mets pen was trying to give this away. You still were close to in it. But 1 through 5 going 0 for 19. Come on now. I mean, ultimately, the bullpen depth and how many arms they have available and how many innings they have to cover, that's going to determine how many games they win in New York, right? Because you're not getting 7 innings. I mean, you got 7 from Flaherty, right? But you're not getting 7 innings from Buehler, Yamamoto, and probably likely Flaherty again. Let's not forget that. Come on, guys. I've got a little too rational over the last couple years. Okay, a couple years ago, I've been on this desk doing, yelling fire Roberts. But no, I mean, you got to put things into perspective. Put things into perspective here. But welcome to the Dodgers Nation post-game show. Will Smith, though, 2 for 23, 5 walks. I see that. Had the big home run there for sure in San Diego. So let's do more comments, guys. Let's go. I'm going to do a ton of comments here. No, Joe Kelly is done from ACDC Freak. We got Rebecca, Michelle, Dave in the chat. Yeah, no rookie in inning 2 of NLCS when we're down 1. Yeah, that's kind of the point I was trying to make. It's a tough spot for these guys. Nick, if Lindor didn't figure out Brazier's pitches, I think he was supposed to stay in longer. He was tipping somehow, and Lindor caught it. Well, we saw how that played against Yamamoto in game 1. So we'll see if there's anything to that. Let's see if there's any Dave Roberts news and notes to get into after the game. Let's check out over here. Dave Roberts, this is from Jack Harris. Dave Roberts said they ran today's bullpen game differently from the division series, using Knack as early as they did because they knew he would need to pitch a couple of innings at home. I mean, hey, that's what I said. Did I not say it like 45 minutes ago? At some point, to the loss of Vesia as a new factor, and that Daniel Hudson was down today after pitching last night. Yeah, used Daniel Hudson last night, so he was going to be available. And at some point, if you're on a postseason roster, you got to perform, and you have to see what you have in that guy. So that pretty much is the biggest takeaway is, yeah, if you expected game 4 of the NLCS, I think you need to be reminded that this was game 2 where you're up 1-0 in that series. But the truth is, take advantage of the opportunities, man. You had traffic. You couldn't come through. You lose game 2, 7-3, and you go back to New York. So, look, I mean, I think this Dodgers team needs adversity at times. They're good when their backs are against the wall. And it's a 1-1 series. What's the worst thing that can happen? You guys think they go to New York and lose 3 in a row? Anything can happen, right? Everything's possible. But I mean, you're going to get back to Dodger Stadium regardless. And I think there's a really good chance that they have a lot of success in New York for a lot of the reasons that I've laid out. Alex PBG, Showtime will make the adjustment. The infamous El Guapo. Lindor didn't do much either. He was gifted that pitch. I mean, Tony Taters could probably at least hit that one out of the infield, right, Tony? Or is that you going to hit a tank there?
I can hit a tank at any ballpark. I'm just
Boom!
I'm just kidding.
Definitely,
definitely Yankee Stadium right field for sure.
I like it. We got 4 postseason wins is 3 more than their last 2 seasons combined. We're spoiled, LOL. Ray Barrios, way to put things into perspective. Yeah, I'm overjoyed, man. I'm out of the DS, right? I'm in the NLCS. I got a 7-game series where one loss doesn't really put you in panic mode. Look, every game is valuable, and you wouldn't win every single game, but I'm just happy to be back in the NLCS. It's been too long, and last time the Dodgers were in the NLCS, they started that series on the road against the Braves. You gave the first 2 games away. Remember the Chris Taylor base running blunder. You had the Austin Riley game winner off of Blake Trinan. Julio Urias wasn't used properly in that series. Man, my mind just kind of recapping that series. And then your arms died. You never really had a chance in that series. The Dodgers have a really good chance to win this series in advance. You're healthy enough, and it's still not your best version of your team because of some of the injuries that you sustained. But look, this offense, they didn't show up, man. Hey, I'm not going to take a screenshot of the lineup today and send this to you and say, if I send you this, it means I'm not showing up, because I think this is temporary. I don't think this is lasting. We got Steve Brand. I thought TBD was a strength. Now it's a liability. This version of TBD, isn't it, right? What do we say TBD stands for? The Bullpen Dogs. Not the case today, but you still got some dog from Honeywell. Henriquez, some of those at bats for Edgardo Henriquez. Bro, what are you calling him? We call him Baby Bazooka, right? I like that. I like that Baby Bazooka. It's a little, let's go Dodgers for him. Yes, he gave up the run, and I didn't like how he wasn't holding the runner on in that situation. But, man, I mean, you see some potential in that dude as well, man. I think it was got that marathon pitch, man. I think it was running, and I was really impressed by that. And, I mean, he came in to put up a scoreless inning there in the 8th. Though he walked Alvarez, it bounced back well. And then 9th inning, when he struck out Nimmo with that cutter. That cutter was nasty, man. I was feeling that. Just the command's not there. It means the guy's thrust in a tough situation. Really just speaks to the injuries that the Dodgers have suffered this season. We got just got beat today. Get him behind Buehler in game 3 from Wyndham. LOL Fox is hilarious. Dylan McKay, $700 million. Does not mean you get a break for being your first postseason. LOL, Dylan McKay. He's got to step up. I mean, look, I don't want to see him get DPS, right? Dodgers postseason syndrome, right? We need to see a better version of Shohei. He realizes that, and that's why it's kind of hopefully crescendo at the right time, because we keep talking about it for sure. At 69 points out, Barry Bonds was terrible in his first few postseasons. Give Shohei some slack. That's from 69. It's not like he hasn't done anything, man. He's had his big moments. I really do. We got Claudia 11. DMAC is talking my language. It's the data and the feeling. What's up, Claudia? How you doing? I'll give you a little comment of the show right there. We got Bleed Concrete. I like Edmund way better at 9 spot. He sets up Shohei. That's something too. You miss Gavin Lux. You miss Tommy Edman. That's certainly something that we know is probably the most optimal lineup for the Dodgers. So there's no doubt about that. We got, I mean, think about this too. If you're the Dodger team, you're going to see Kodai Senga again, right? And Senga, that's definitely something that you want to see for sure. Games like this happen. Innings like that happen. It was a good game for the Mets. The Dodgers, not so much. But they outplayed the Dodgers today. And the Dodgers were still in it for most of this game. So, yeah, for sure. Yeah, guys, a couple more here, and then we'll let you enjoy your Monday night. By the way, how about this, too? A weird, awkward Monday afternoon game. Like, can we talk about that? A Monday afternoon game in Los Angeles. Yes, the fans were there, but come on, man. You're doing LA dirty like that. If that's a Monday night game, a little more electricity, maybe the ball's not carrying as much. Just didn't like the scheduling. How do you have this is so baseball, right? How do you have New York and LA? You have the biggest star in the game, Shohei Ohtani, in Los Angeles, going up against a New York Mets team. The Metropolitan's a big market. You're on at 1 o'clock. People at work. What do you think about that 1 o'clock start, Antonio?
I'm going to say it's pretty whack, but especially with the shadows, it's so hard.
Shadows,
you know how it is to hit.
Rick Monday will talk all about the shadows, and it's a factor. Certainly was a factor in this one. But yeah, I mean, what do you think about the crowd today compared to game one, right? A little different.
Diferente, pero más o menos.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, look at this. You're one bad Landon Knack inning away from beating their best starting pitcher.
Gosh, that was such a brutal grand slam, bro.
It was. It didn't feel good, and they took it personally. But keep it moving. Got Courtney Roper. Ohtani is batting better with runners on. Maybe switch him in bets like the beginning of the season. That's from Courtney Roper. It's certainly something that you're going to entertain potentially. I don't know if Dave was asked about that. And I should be there asking Dave that same question in the studio with you guys. But that certainly would be my first question if I was there, is if he continues to slump without runners on base, do you find a way to mix up the lineup? And then you get into that issue where you're batting Shohei and Freddie back to back with lefties, and you're giving the opposing manager a potential platoon advantage. And then when you consider what Shohei can do when he gets on base with the base running, still think you ride this one out. I do. I think that Shohei has shown all season long that even when he has slumps at times, he'll break out of them in such a big way that you'll forget he was even in a slump. So I think that that's kind of the big adjustment is, let's not forget, it's the guy performing in the postseason for the first time as a leadoff hitter. So making some key adjustments, and then we'll go from there. But I'm not ready to make a radical change when it's a 1-1 game and you just beat a Padres team where, let's not forget, the big home run in game one that he hit off Dylan Cease, that came after a Lux walk. That came after the bottom of the lineup was able to get on base. So it's very crucial for them to have success. Today wasn't the best version of the bottom of the lineup, and I think for a lot of different reasons. So, hey, now you have a little more respect and value for Gavin Lux, right? We got David Garcia. People expecting Ohtani to be dropping bombs every time he gets to the plate. Relax. Yeah, man, even though it doesn't feel like he's from this planet, he is human. I'll tell you that much. OG Martinez is very confident in our guys to pull this off. Still, Mets were asking to lose this game, and we let them off the hook. All good. When we beat ourselves, I'll take that over them beating our big arms. Yeah, no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. It certainly is a major factor from that standpoint as well. We got some more comments down below, guys, and then we're going to wrap this one up. We'll be back tomorrow for Dodgers Dugout Live. Mookie 1 for 9 in the NLCS. DMAC, another problem is Yamamoto cannot go on regular rest. At some point, he's going to have to next season. Alex Renteria. That's certainly the case, but the truth is you have regular rest now for your starters in Buehler, in Yamamoto, in Jack Flaherty for this reason. So that's another thing, too, why you have to go on this game. So I don't buy the Dodgers punted in this game. I really don't. I think that you came close to winning. You just didn't have the timely base hits. You weren't definitely taking advantage of when you were able to put yourself in those opportunities, just did not happen. But still, final thoughts on this one is were very close to having an LOL Mets situation. You still were very close to making a game of this, despite having a blow-up inning by Landon Knack, despite being down 6-0 in this one. By the way, the Dodgers in Game 2 of the 1956 World Series were trailing 6-0 to the New York Yankees. Were able to come back and win that one. Unfortunately, today's Dodgers didn't have that same comeback magic, but you do have your high leverage arms ready. You got your rotation lined up. You got the day off. You're not going to go 0 for 19 from your 1 through 5 again. Shohei's going to pop at some point. Mookie's already showing signs. Freddie Freeman's playing through an ankle injury. Teoscar had the monster home run in Game 1. So, in Game 5 of the NLCS. So, still trust this Dodgers team. The Doomers are probably going to have a field day with this one. But I still am very confident the Dodgers go to New York, have some success, and I'm still confident the Dodgers ultimately win this series, but the bats have to show up. We can't see the execution with runners in scoring position that we have. But that's going to do it for this episode of Dodgers Dugout / Dodgers Nation post-game show. My name is Doug McKain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMac_LA. If you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe to the #1 Dodgers YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, hit that like button. Remember, nothing brings us together quite like Dodger baseball. And